Hi everyone, welcome to Mill City Munches, powered by the Andre Group and Keller Williams. We're here at the establishment with one of the owners, Laura Cowan, and we're going to ask some questions about the establishment, which was established 3 years and a month ago here at this great location at the Mill in North Chelmsford. So Laura, what is the establishment?
The establishment is a restaurant, family owned. My brother, sister, and I own the establishment. We're a restaurant that really can cater to all kinds of tastes. We have, we're American fare, but we have a range of great options, from great salads to pizza to nice entree. Steak tips is one of our staples.
They were delicious, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, so our goal when we opened the establishment was to be family friendly. We are family owned. So we really wanted the environment to be a family friendly, casual, but high quality food.
Great. So how did you get started in the industry, and what drove you to open up the establishment here in North Chelmsford?
So a couple things. So my brother he's one of the other owners, my brother, sister, and I. So he's been in the business 15, 20 years now. He had a couple restaurants up on North Shore in Linfield, Saugus area. They went out of business, the land got sold. Anyway, without getting into that, we came together as a family, and we really wanted to do a restaurant as a family. My sister is also in the business. She actually worked for Matt at his other two locations. And as far as here in Chelmsford, I actually was a manager at Microsoft, so I was looking for a whole new thing. And we drove up here. It was for sale from the previous owner. And we found out about it from our broker, and we drove up to have a look, because it's not, Matt and I both live in Saugus, and so it wasn't close for any of us, but we drove up and we just fell in love with the atmosphere.
Yeah, location.
How can you beat it?
I know, the location's beautiful. It's set here in the canal in North Chelmsford, right next to the train station at the old mill. It was built in 1920.
Yeah.
And there's no better ambiance to have a family dining experience with your menu is extensive, which is great. The fresh pizza that comes out right out of the oven, it's unbeatable. So what makes the establishment unique and different from other restaurants in the area?
Well, it's interesting. I gave this question quite a bit of thought. So I think, again, it's kind of twofold. What I think is really unique, we've already talked a little bit about the atmosphere, the high ceilings, but one of the things that stuck out to me was that we're surrounded by windows and glass.
Yep.
Some restaurants, they're probably very good, but you go into them and they, they don't have any windows, so they're really closed in. And, sometimes you may just, you're inside. Here you can come in, if it's during the day, the sun's shining on you, and it's beautiful. So that's one thing, the atmosphere. But the other thing is that we always, like I said, wanted to be a restaurant first. We've been called a sports bar. We're not a sports bar. But what I will say about that is you can come and you can sit in the restaurant and, as we say, the front of the building where all the windows are, and really have a nice, somewhat quiet meal with your family, or like you said, bring your whole family in. Or if you are into sports, we do have TVs. You can actually sit in the bar area and have a very different experience. Like watch the game. We'll put the sound on when the Patriots are on, any of the local teams. So I think that really differentiates us, because we can really get the best of both worlds at the establishment.
And I noticed you spoke of the bar. The bar has a huge selection of draft beer.
Yes.
And I was amazed by what I saw, and also, because of COVID, obviously you put the partitions on so people can be safe. Obviously, we're outside now,
right.
And Laura decided to wear the mask. I wore my mask out here, but obviously for aesthetics and speaking, we are distancing, so we're good with that.
Yeah. Yes.
So what motivates you and your family to be in this business?
I've always, as I said, I was a manager at Microsoft for 12 years. I've always been in the service business, and for me, one of my purposes of life, not to get too deep, but is really just to service people and be of service to people. All three of us, my brother, sister, and I, were very people, people persons, whatever. I think.
And you have to be in this business.
Oh,
you have
yeah,
to like
gosh,
people.
Yeah. I think it is. It's really just bringing a great experience to everyone that walks in the doors. And the second part of that is being able to give back to the community. So we've been able to do that in a few different ways during the pandemic. We worked with Table of Plenty and helped feed some families. So, churches and other organizations that always do that maybe haven't had the ability as much as before. So we got involved in that. So we try to give back. We work very closely with a lot of the local sports teams and really give them great deals, when they were having banquets and stuff, again, pre-COVID. But, so yeah, to be, really impactful to the community as well as, service people.
And you also do Mercy Meals as well?
Yes,
Yes.
we do quite a bit of Mercy Meals, yep. So,
And a huge takeout as well, especially now during COVID. Just we want to emphasize that the restaurant industry has been impacted, and the takeout is a huge part of their business, and you can always call ahead and come and pick it up curbside. We're COVID compliant, so therefore everything is delivered in the highest cleanliness possible.
Right.
And that's why we're doing this series here at the Mill City Munches, to showcase some of the restaurants in the area that gave to us, and now we're trying to give a little bit back to them. So what is a fun fact you wish to share about the establishment that most people and customers wouldn't know?
I guess the name. So it's a, I don't know if unique name's the right word, but for a restaurant. So the establishment came about literally at a family meeting. So we saw the place in January of 2017, and then it took us, a long time to get open. It does, buying a big place like this. But anyway, so we had a family meeting about it, and the name that won was the establishment at the mill. And I got back together with Matt and Don, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool, but it's just way too long. Like, it's just too long. And I won't say I hated it, and I said to Matt, I don't love it, but so what can we do? Because he's like, well, you're one of the main investors, so we can't have a name that one of the owners hates.
Like
So I said, what about simply the establishment? And it just stuck.
I think it's a very unique name. I love it.
Yeah.
And then when you drive by, you see it on the street,
Yes.
and it really stands out.
It does. Yes.
And it really sets apart from the old mill.
Yeah.
And it has that atmosphere. It's like to establish things, establish your meal.
Yes.
You can play a lot out of that particular name.
And we also liked it because we knew we could make it our own. It had no, ethnic connection. Like we're not an Italian restaurant or whatever.
Yeah.
So we really liked it.
So you can be free with the menu to do whatever you
exactly
need to
right.
incorporate. That's great, because we love the menus. Like I said, it's extensive, and there's a lot of choices, regardless if you like Italian or any other cuisine. And for the kids, my kids were here today, and they love the pizza, and also some of the chicken fingers that had different sauces.
Yep.
They love that. So how in this type of times with COVID, how's it impacted your business, and what you had to do to adapt to this new environment that we're in?
That's such a great question. So you brought up one thing, that's takeout. So before COVID, we really were just largely, people came in to eat. We had maybe 4 or 5% of our business was takeout, and it was only calling and coming and picking up. We had no delivery. We weren't on any of the, Uber Eats, DoorDash, any of those. First thing we did, so again, I'm the computer geek of the group. I went online, we signed up with DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Slice. So we got those going right away. So takeout was huge for us. That was our first step. And that's gone from maybe 5% of the business to 25%. So huge, got us through the times. The second thing, now that we could open, or next step was the outside dining where we're sitting now. The town and the state were great about getting things approved more quickly than maybe usual, but the outside was a huge hit to start. It's the irony there is people had asked us for outside dining over the past couple of years, and so now it's in place. And then thirdly, you mentioned the partitions. We did them between the booth, on top of the booth seats, so we could seat the booths. So we really invested in. I should have bought stock in plexiglass, but
Don't we all?
We really invested in the plexiglass idea, between the tables at the bars. between the booths, like I said. And then, we're lucky enough, I think, in a way, where our dining room generally would have sat 200 people. So we could really social distance the tables and still have a decent business. So
yeah, I noticed that you have plenty of room, and there's enough room between each table to be social decency, distant, and also feel comfortable, like in a family atmosphere.
Yep.
And that's a great thing to have.
Increased our sanitation procedures.
Yes.
We're always very clean. Obviously, at a restaurant, you should be anyway.
You should be,
but we increased that. We have sanitizing stations for customers now that they need it. So
yeah, I noticed that there was a lot of sanitation stations, which was great.
Yep.
A fun question that I like to ask all of my restaurant owners is that, what do you do in your free time, if you have any? Because a restaurant is more than a full-time business.
Well, ironically, my husband and I are huge Boston sports fans. So when we can go, we like to go to Fenway and the Garden for the Celtics. We're big Celtics fans. So we're big sports fans. Family. You don't own a family restaurant without liking your family. So, my nieces, nephew, Matt's kids, Don's kids, we get together all the time.
That's great.
Matt has, 7 kids, so he's busy with
wow,
them
7.
when he's not here. And
I have 2, and it's enough for me.
yeah, and my sister has 3, but they're all grown, so they have kids. So I would say family is our number one thing, even outside of here. Sports is big for me. Matt's a big Pats fan.
And I was so glad when I came. I'm a huge soccer fan, and when I stepped into here today and saw some of the European qualifiers on TV, I was elated. I'm like, great! I'm not gonna miss a game.
That's also a little, I don't want to say unique feature, but I'm sure others do this. But if you come in and you sit at a booth and you are playing Keno or you like soccer, all you have to do is ask, and we'll put what you want on TV. That's if you're someone who doesn't like the TVs, sit down, we'll turn those 2 off for you. You don't have to.
You don't have to be like.
You don't have to be
preoccupied staring up and down. Yeah. And so a couple more questions for you, and then we can wrap it up. What does the future hold for the establishment? What is your vision going on from here?
I think just continued growth. I guess I would say, we have been lucky. We've done pretty well. Right now, I think the future, we'd love to get back to some of the bigger functions that we were having, which we know is limited right now.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah, because we were very popular for functions. But I think really, we've redone the menu a couple times, so it's really just continuing to get better, continuing to hire, so hiring within the community and helping employ people. But really, for us, I think it's a lot of the same, but incremental improvements as we go. And then, if we can get back to functions, that would be great. They were hugely successful for us. With the holidays coming up, we always had repeat people coming back.
And speaking of holidays, do you have anything that's special for the fall, since we're already in fall here?
The main thing we do, we took a run at specials on our food menu, but it seems people really like our menu. So we'll play around, if you will, with different specials. We do for seasonal. We do more related to the drink menu. So we'll do seasonal drinks.
What do you have, a pumpkin martini or something like that?
We had Shipyard pumpkin on tap, which is very popular, and the brew already ran out, so that's all done already. But fall martinis. We now have a cranberry margarita
that's great.
on tap. I think it's coming in, or maybe on there now. So we mostly rotate those. Then we do. One thing we do is we do like a seasonal dessert. That will change each week. Right now it's pumpkin pie and apple crisp, I think.
I love apple crisp.
So our main menu, people will ask for stuff and we'll run it through specials and then see how they do. A couple things ended up being added to the menu, so kind of do that way. That's less seasonal, but.
That's great. Well, I want to thank you very much for hosting us, for one thing, and also to be open and this type of conditions that we're in, it's very difficult, especially for the restaurant industry, where all of the extra precautions has to be taken, especially with serving people and the food. So these restaurant owners do a lot extra behind the scenes to get the food ready, and to also to make sure that people are safe, and also to serve our community. And that's why we are doing the series to give back to some of the places, if not all. We can't do them all, but it's the places that we gives back to the community, so we want to give us a little bit back. This is your last chance. I mean, do you have any social media that you want to plug, or anything that's upcoming that you want to plug real quickly before we go?
We are on Facebook, so you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Those are the two we're on. I try to keep up to date with those and share things there. I'm glad you asked, though. We actually are I started a loyalty program, but it was very manual, so but we're implementing a brand new rewards program. That should be out within the next week or so.
Great.
So people can come in and earn points and earn free desserts and free appetizers.
They'll be mostly like a credit card type thing?
It's all digital, so
Yeah.
all you have
Great.
to do is remember your own phone number, and we can
Oh, that's
look
great.
you up.
That's even better.
So much easier.
Yeah, it's
right?
so much easier.
Who
Phone
wants to
number.
carry an extra card
Right.
around? I know I don't. I lose them all the time. So we went digital on that. So yeah, for you earn points and earn free food, and just a great place. It really is. I give it's a family effort for sure, but
Yeah,
my
it
brother's
takes-
been
takes
amazing
everyone.
making this place safe.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't in here as much during the earlier COVID days, just for my own health stuff, but he took care of me as well as took care of her. So I did my thing on the back end, all the menus and stuff, so it's definitely, we all do our part for sure.
It does take a village,
takes a
really,
village, for real.
to
Yes.
make it happen. And I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to be here, to survive through this, and hopefully
Thank you.
we can thrive and have these folks come in and experience the experience I have. I've been here multiple times,
Appreciate
and
that.
I love the place, love the location, and thank you very much.
And thank you guys too. I appreciate you taking the time to spend with me and have some lunch, and we really appreciate what you're doing. It means a lot to the restaurant business.
All right, thank you.